YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy Buddha back with the third video that I'm making today on Last Cloudia, although this will be the second one that you see. Tomorrow I will post my final Dr. Stone's summons, so a treat to behold. But today we are going to end off with a focus on what we have already obtained, and that is Asagiri. For some reason I like to pronounce his name in Italian. I was able to grind him out as much as possible. I didn't grind out extra souls in anticipation for a 7th and 8th awakening. I wasn't about that life, but I did get enough souls for him to be 6 star and 84 SC with the 2 bonus SCs at the end that you get from the prisms in the shop. We were able to snag up all of that. It took me a couple tries of building him out, but I came up with a build I am very happy with, very satisfied, and I really want to show off for you today. So for this showcase, I want to treat it just like I did for my Nero. Coincidentally enough, I'm bringing him along, and that is because of how I feel Gen is best presented on any team. I'm running him as my support because he is going to be one of your top tier wingmen. And by that I mean when you have a character like Nero, who on my account is one of my big damage dealers, Gen only serves to enhance his performance and also look good just standing right next to him. Gen alone, at least this build that I have currently, is a little squishy, and he doesn't provide his full range of support by just being himself, right? Part of his gimmick is that he makes enemies target your allies more often than himself, but then he's also giving your allies the 35% or 25% more damage on top of them. So I don't think it does any justice to just bring Gen alone. I want to show you the full range of how I built him out. So here's what we're gonna do. First take on the stage I like to frequent. Y'all see Find Theria, just because it's an easy stage, doesn't present much of a threat, but allows for at least a minute plus of content worth. So here's my strategy with Gen. I take him, I run into a corner like a little wuss. All right, I'll admit it. I forgot to mention I like to run Skyship L'Envelion on top of Gen because it provides him basically with a plus 25% extra damage, along with a couple other effects as well. But we're not even going to worry about popping the shield that it provides. This is the drill, okay? We run into a corner, pop glass record maybe once or twice, back to back, boom, pops off pretty quick, and now it seems one of them has targeted me, but now I'm going to use my skill 2, and you can see we've got 3 stock in his 1 and 1 stock in his skill 3. If we look at Nero, homeboy's got almost all stock completely filled, and that's actually common when a character is running on auto. However, I can guarantee you in this situation, he has a lot more skill stock just because we popped those 2 glass records. So since they've all kind of crowded on me, I'm going to go to another corner, get as far away from these guys as I possibly can, and then we can start popping off some Gen skills. You'll see that we got some nice 999s all over the screen. You can tell which damage is Gen's by the 9,999 damage cap on it. Nero's got that 15,999 like we've seen before. You can identify whose damage is whose basically by paying attention to those numbers. Now, what is also really nice, you can see the Imperial soldiers are basically almost dead, and they're pretty tanky. They got a substantial amount of HP, which is impressive. But let's go ahead and target Galbor because I want to start launching off debuffs. You can see we have super bad chemical drain, super bad chemical fatigue, and extremely bad chemical. Extremely bad chemical is not going to help Gen as much as it is Nero, since Nero has elemental attacks. Extremely bad chemical lowers the elemental resistances. So let's start with that. Those pop off pretty quick, and then I'm just going to go down the list. You can see they pop off pretty quickly. And now we'll do another couple glass record pops. Yeah, these guys shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'm going to do 2 again. You can see our MP is draining pretty fast. I'm going to get as far away as I can and start targeting. Is that Galbor? Of course Galbor's chasing me. We'll go ahead and finish these guys off. I'm going to launch an S3, S1, S1, S3. You can see the damage output from him is very nice. Now, here's where you have to get a little MP recharge. Luckily, he comes with Goddess Kiss. And what's nice is I'm going to start doing some normal attacks, some regular attacks, and we're going to more than likely see his MP bar raising significantly because Goddess Kiss does recover. It has a chance to recover 2% of your regular attack damage. So here we go. I'm just going to start popping off. We just went from like, what was that, 45 to 193? So it speaks for itself. Now we can go ahead, start popping glass record again. Beautiful. Love it. I'm going to do it a couple more times. It looks like we're also getting MP regen from his other passive, which is Cola. He just randomly recharges MP and HP occasionally. And you can see for a significant amount. All right, so here we go. I might as well do another one so we can all get full skill stock. Boom. I'm going to go Shallow Words, and now we just drop the ban hammer on this guy. Boom. And you know, Galbor has a very significant amount of health, and we just drained it down by a lot. By a lot. So not only is Gen providing Nero with this crazy SCT stock because of that glass record battery strategy, dropping that burst damage long range with that damage cap of 9,999, which we saw a lot of, is also benefiting in the damage section as well. All right, and y'all know it's easy to showcase units on easy stages that don't present much of a defensive threat. So we're going to go ahead and take on the other stage that is a challenge no matter where you are in the game. You got to know who to bring, which is why I'm also going to slap Theria on here because that firewall is very necessary to tank against his earth attacks. Bring Caldina the Great, just to give everyone a nice HP boost. And then we're going to rinse and repeat the strategy I kind of explained in the Find Theria stage. We found her, and we're bringing her to fight Pablo. So here we go. We're going to launch off. We're going to do a flame wall immediately, and then we're actually going to do a drain in order to make this Pablo hit almost nothing in this first little attack that he does. Let's see the damage that we see. All right, so very nice. Looks like 1s and 2s. And then he does do a nice burst damage at the end there. But you can see Theria plus Gen debuffing the enemy really, and buffing ourselves as well, really saves you from even having to worry about that first explosion. So now I'm going to do the same thing we were doing in that stage. I'm just going to pop a bunch of glass records. And you saw that I ran to the corner. Luckily, Pablo is staying in his lane, and the further away we are from the enemy, the more damage we're going to be able to do, and that's because of the Maglion effect coupled with Tech Blade, which is a machine equipment I have attached to him. We're going to check out all of that at the end of this video, but hopefully I can take, which I've done before, I'm going to take this team to victory just to prove it on camera how nice Gen is. Let's go ahead and pop some more glass records just to keep on charging everyone's SCT. And I'm actually going to switch to Nero. You can see his kit, he's like stocked up in SCT right now. All right, luckily we did have Firewall still on us. Let's go ahead and pop it again, and then we're going to go ahead and pop some glass records. And I'm just going to stay on Nero so I can actually use these skills, because like I said, keep in mind, Nero is the main source of damage in this team. Gen is just serving to be a fantastic support. Like I said, wingman. Let's go ahead. He's at 134. I'm going to go to Magic, pop another glass record, and just keep doing what we do. You can see the skill charge is just crazy with this glass record battery strategy. And we're shredding through these Pablos. Very nice. Love to see it. I'm going to go to Gen actually and switch over to you. Use Shallow Words and then start using some of his skills. Do we have Flame Wall up? We do. It's fading away, but we do. Theria just being on the team provides so much damage reduction. I'm not going to front, right? I did try taking Gen and Nero only in this stage, and they're just too squishy, right? I'm not going to act like Gen is some defensive monster. He's just a fantastic addition for your offensive, as well as his debuff capabilities just help support the entire team. So Theria is definitely necessary here. We're going to keep on hammering Pablo. Let me launch his S1s, and it looks like with the S1s and this, the second Pablo is down. Now we're just going after this third one. I'm going to go ahead, launch off Nero's ultimate, because why not? And Overture. Let's start putting the whooping on him. I'm actually going to move locations with Gen, because like I said, you want to get far away from this fool. Let's go ahead and pop some glass records, because this is just what you do. You get away from the unit, you get away from the enemies, and then you just start bullying them after you've cast a bunch of skills. Like, look at that. I switched to Nero, and I immediately have all of his best abilities ready to go. Helter Skelter deals so much damage. The fact that it can just be readily available when I go to him makes it so easy to fight this enemy, who's typically a tough boss, right? All right, so since these guys are all going to spawn, there's going to be 4 Pablos, which is going to be quite annoying, but they are substantially weaker than the previous. I'm going to go ahead and use up Gen's skill stock right there, so we can use the last record, which was interrupted, right? I don't have a skill like a movable object on Gen, so he does need to be kind of left alone to really do his thing. Let's pop some more glass records, and then I do want to try and make an effort to just focus on one Pablo at a time. These guys are standing really close to each other, which is nice, so we can take advantage of that. Try and take multiple down at the same time. Helter Skelter. Yeah, we are hurting. I think both the Pablos on the left side are dead at this point. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Let's go ahead and take out this Pablo. I'm going to hit Overture, and with Gen, I'm going to run up the screen because we know we're in the line of fire, which is not where I want to be. Here we go. I'm going to do Glass Record. I could be popping off debuffs right now if I really wanted to, but I don't have to. Keep in mind, I just did that other glass record. I don't know if I needed to. Keep in mind that Gen is providing a nice substantial heal as well. Every time we're spamming glass record, which is constantly providing us health regen, as well as the SCT. I just love the strategy because I can get in a safe spot, pop it off a million times, go to every character, and just fire off skills like I'm like a cannon. Let's switch to whoever's weaker and just do what we do. And you can see the 9999s. Those are all Gen. He gets credit for all of them. Let's use shallow words. Not swallow words. That doesn't make any sense. And let's go ahead and use another glass record. Yeah. Let's bully this guy. Oh, you know what we haven't used? I'm going to use Salmia because I've been forgetting to pop a flame wall. We've got full skill stock on Nero. Let's use another flame wall. Nero might die. Yep, he's going to die. That's all right. We've got Oracle Feather. I'm cheating. I know. Oracle Feather, OP res ability. I'm sorry. But let me point out, I also could have used Miracle Fluid on Gen, which I have for tight situations. Since he has Decoy, he auto-reses himself. And then if I can get some glass records off, or Miracle Fluid off, I can start rezzing some of the other team. It's some more utility I provided him. Let's use another glass record because we can. And we've got the full skill stock on our boy. So let's go ahead and just take this Pablo out and just focus on the last one right here. After we kill this Pablo, it's the home stretch. We have Flame Wall up, so I'm not worried about this right here, and it seems that we had some sort of shield on as well, which is great. All right, so here we go. I'm going to switch to Gen to try and get away from where I think the final boss is going to appear. So here is the final Pablo. We're going to do a couple things. I'm going to pop off Skyship Lonvalian. I'm going to use another Flame Wall just to be safe, and then we're just going to debuff the heck out of this guy. So we'll start with Extremely Bad Chemical, and we'll start with the Drain, And then we'll go with Fatigue. So now we can see I can use his ultimate. I think it also gives the enemy some more elemental res debuffs. So you can see the power of support that Gen offers. I'm going to try and get some MP back here. Now we can pop off a glass record. And boom. Now let's just hammer the heck out of this final Pablo. This Grand Cross is not too worried about that. Not too worried about that. And there's Nero being good to us. Let's use Glass Record again, get some more skill stock, and let's use some of Nero's very powerful abilities. Alright, girl, I need you to activate Flame Wall. Keep Flame Wall up. Alright, it is actively up, so I'm not worried about that. We've lost MP with Gen, because I do have Sharp Eyes on him. So through auto-attacking, he has used skills and used up all of his MP. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use Shallow Words. Try and get some MP back. Some MP regen I think will benefit us. I don't know if popping his ultimate multiple times has any effect, but I do it just because. I need to confirm that. Maybe you can let me know in the comments, but I don't think it hurts. We're going to apply the debuffs to this guy again. Even though he's almost dead, it might not even be needed. But they pop off very quick. It's very quick to get the drains off on him. So I don't mind doing it. Drain is going to lower the attack, the strength and int of Pablo right now. So let's go ahead and lower the defenses with Fatigue. And now we can just use his skills and deal some nice damage. We got a nice God heal from Theria. All right, here we go. This is going to hurt. This is going to hurt a little bit. But we did have the Sky Ship. We had the Sky Ship barrier, I think, is what kind of stops some damage from hitting us. I'm going to summon Salmia since we're a little low, and I'm just 1 MP shy of popping a glass record off. Luckily, we have Theria. Like I said, her healing capabilities are just disgusting and very needed for events like this that are tough. But it looks like the writing's on the wall. Pablo is done for. Can't stress it enough. Again, if you build him right, being an SCT battery with substantial damage, as long as you can keep the attention away from him, just looks fantastic. 5 minutes, 12 seconds is a record for me. Give me a little bit before I can start competing with the time clears of the elites, all right? Hey, thank God we're recording. Thank God we're recording. So now let me show off my boy again and the work and time I have spent on him. You can see we've got him at level 100 max. You see the stat boost right now, 4,300 health, 351 MP, 1,000 strength, 817 defense, 1610 intelligence, and 1208 mind. It has been confirmed that Gen is a 1-to-1 boost in damage. So what that means, in regards to strength and intelligence, they both have the same multiplier in affecting the amount of damage that Gen does. So let's say if I had a 1500 strength stat and a 0 intelligence stat, he would hit 100. If it was flipped and I had a 1500 intelligence stat and 0 strength, he would also hit 100. So the more you can have of both will contribute to the physical damage he does on his regular attacks and skills S1, 2, and 3. Now he has a higher intelligence, so it just makes sense logically to build up his intelligence stat because you can get it to higher levels since the base is starting out bigger. Looking at his abilities is what they are labeled in the game. His S1, I put a spell on you, targeted medium area, long range combo attack, chance to inflict curse, very nice for PvP. Shallow Words give all allies SCT 5 seconds of recovery after a fixed amount of time. So another SCT battery skill built into him. Voice impersonation, targeted wide area, long range combo attack, chance to give physical damage, minus 20% effect to enemies. This is a big hitter when you have it charged because there's so many hits upon activation. He can just deal a nice amount of damage with it. And what's nice about his S1 and S3 is they are spammable from anywhere. So like I said, the goal with my build is to get as far away from the enemies as possible and then just start spamming to your heart's content. His traits, first one, Mentalist, nullify Sorcerer, Killer, Slayer effects from enemies. Now, I got this wrong when I did my first interpretation of his build when Adis dropped info on Gen. This actually just nullifies exactly what it says, Sorcerer, Killer, Slayer effects. And you can see he is a Sorcerer type. He's not going to get extra damage inflicted on him in the arena setting for anyone with Sorcerer, Killer, or Slayer. When physically attacking, chance to inflict received damage plus 30% to debuffs. And frontal attacks become attacks from behind. We're going to see why that is so insane when we look further into his built-in skills. His second trait is Silver Tongue. At battle start and when near death, give all allies but unit physical attack damage plus 25%, science magic damage plus 25%, more likely to be targeted by enemies. I also completely butchered the interpretation of this description. This is giving all your allies plus 25% damage if it's physical or science magic, and a taunt effect, which makes the allies more likely to be targeted by enemies. And this is going to proc at the battle start, and if it fades away, it'll proc again in the same wave when Gen is near death. Basically, the idea is to get enemies away from him at the start and when they're about to kill him. So that's what applies that strategy I was talking about in the beginning on get the enemies away from Gen. You want to have someone on the team with him so that he can take full advantage of this trait. You can see I have him 5-starred because I am lacking the 2 Prism Souls I need in order to get him to 6-star, which I fully plan to do as soon as I pull 2 more duplicates. And I do have 108 out of 108 unlocked on his ability board. Now let's look at the good stuff. You can see 84 out of 84 SC used. Anything with a 0 SC cost comes built in his kit, so just keep that in mind while we're scrolling through it. I'm just going to talk about skills that I want to highlight in the showcase. Glass Record, sitting rightfully at the top, is that magic ability that restores medium HP to all allies and restores SCT. This gets very crazy when paired with another skill we're going to see later on. You can see Miracle Fluid is what I put on him to res other characters. Super Bad Chemical Drain, Super Bad Chemical Fatigue, and Extremely Bad Chemical, all amazing debuffs to throw on the enemy. And then here I have MP up 1, MP up max. Magic ups, your crit ups, a lot of these come in his kit, which is really nice. I have aim vitals on him that I did put on him manually. He comes with Proud Force, Fake Blood Pack Guard, that's a great ability, chance to receive damage to 0, it's wonderful. He comes with Illusion, chance of just evading the physical attacks. I did put Machine Equip on him, which we will see why once I get over to his equipment tab. Comes with Auto Barrier. I put Fast Magic Circle just to give him a little extra MP regen. Comes with Auto Haste, which is fantastic. Moonlight increases int at max HP, which is actually a very reasonable skill to have on him, because if he's standing far away from the enemies and he's got Proud Force healing him up to max HP, if he ever gets touched, you will constantly have, I believe it's a 20% increase in intelligence. Correct me on that percentage if I'm wrong, but regardless, he gets that intelligence boost majority of the time. No attribute attack raise 2, no attribute critical raise. Now, I did want to mention this skill because him coming with no attribute crit raise is the reason I do not have advanced aim vitals on him, which is an extra plus 50% boost to your crit damage. Before I unlocked this skill, the no attribute critical raise, I noticed that on critical, Gen was dealing his damage cap with advanced aim vitals, which is just a plus 50% to critical power. So if he's already hitting damage cap on all of his criticals, there would have been 0 reason for me to keep advanced aim vitals, which is that plus 50%, and then unlock this ability, which gives him another critical strength plus 50%. That damage isn't going anywhere because of his damage cap. So logically, I took advanced aim vitals off to save the extra 6 SC and replaced it with his built-in passive, no attribute critical raise, which also gives him the plus 5% to crit. Very nice, something I wanted to note just to help out anyone that maybe didn't see that or think about it or test it the way I did. All right, and here is Spirit Breath. This is the bread to the butter that is Glass Record. You put Spirit Breath on this man. That's why when you're casting Glass Records, he's recovering SCT with the Glass Record skill, and he's recovering SCT passively with Spirit Breath. You've heard me talk about it, you've heard Tweets talk about it, you've heard Crypt talk about it in our podcast. This is the broken ability that makes Gen, or any character you can teach Spirit Breath and Glass Record to an SCT battery. You slap Spirit Breath on the entire team, and that is what gives everyone that crazy recharge. Goddess Kiss, we talked about, comes with his kit to absorb or recharge his MP in a very reliant way, because his damage is pretty nice, so it recharges very quickly whenever that 2% procs. Here is the reason his trait, turning all his frontal attacks into attacks from behind, is insane, and that's because he comes with all of the damage multipliers that go with attacking enemies from behind. Surprise attack, backstab, and reverse cross. He's getting all of those damage boosts, proccing every single attack. Tweak said it first, and I took notes. It's almost foolish not to take advantage of this insane backstab setup that comes in his kit. That's why instead of going the tanky route, I went with SCT battery / debuff / bring out his max damage potential, at least in my case. So I know that every single ounce of his damage is being utilized through his passive skills that he comes with. Maglion, I totally stole from some of Tweak's showcases. Damage dealt is proportional to the distance from long range attacks. This is just a skill that goes hand in hand with him, because like I said, you want to get far away from the enemy because he is a little squishy, so he can be given the buffs to the other allies. He can be recharging, he can be casting Glass Record unobstructed, and with Maglion in effect, as long as you keep him in a far corner away from everyone else, it's only going to boost his damage up. On crit, he's basically hitting 9999 with this setup no matter what. So now, the further I get from the enemy, the higher my white damage caps are going to be raised, which is just great. It goes hand in hand with this entire strategy. Thank you to Tweaks for exposing how useful this ability is. And then I also have high level magic chant. Now this is very important in my eyes because it greatly increases the casting magic of all magic. If you just try and pop off Glass Record with Gen, at least I noticed, with no casting speed enhance boosts on him at all, it takes a second. It takes like 3 to 4 seconds, which in LC battles is a very long time for a character to just be standing there vulnerable. It's a lot of time for him to be interrupted, and it's just a lot of wasted time. So along with trying to bring out his damage, I also wanted to do as much as I could to bring out his casting speed and make it very quick so that it's painless and I can spam that Glass Record as frequently as possible. I have reject there, just an extra 4 SC. I'm not sure what the percentage of effectiveness this gives, but it's an extra way to decrease his attraction of enemies. I'm hoping that goes hand in hand with his trait. If it doesn't and it's a waste of 4 SC, let me know in the comments, but you know, just a little thing I wanted to throw on there. Dual wield, obviously, because if you're going for max damage potential on a physical type attacker, you need to have dual wield. It's very hard to convince me otherwise. Machine boost, just to give him a little extra edge with the equipments we'll look at. He comes with quick trigger, so he'll always start with one of his 3 skills. Decoy gives him that auto res. I put on Sharp Eyes since he does have a very reliant source of MP recovery with Goddess Kiss. I figured, why not? I threw on Sharp Eyes. It definitely does drain the MP a little bit and can be inconvenient when I'm trying to spam Glass Record, but as we saw, it was sufficient enough to take down one of the difficult world bosses, so I think it does work with him very nicely. Comes with a drink of cola, which we saw occasionally recover HP and MP, very significant when it does pop off. false report, when ally is incapacitated, inflict strength minus 35% and mind minus 35% to a boss monster. So I imagine when Nero was taken out in the showcase, this was inflicted onto the Pablo that killed him, which is a very significant debuff. Weapon tampering, battle start, inflict strength minus 20% and crit rate minus 20% debuff on all enemies. Crypt Man described how insane that passive is in PvP. And sleight of hand, when physically attacking, chance to flip enemy strength, int, defense, mind buffs to debuffs. I didn't pay attention if that happened during the Pablo fight, but maybe I'll go watch it back just to see if there is that noticeable change, because I know Pablo does buff himself. I wonder if we were able to flip some of those buffs to debuffs. Moving on to equipment. Now I am working with what I got. All right. If I could, I would slap the Flag of Science, or whatever it's called, from the Light of Science arc on Gen to make him even crazier, but your boy doesn't have it. So instead, I chose to slap on Godly Staff Apocalypse. You can see it gives him some really nice stat buffs. 25 to mana, 200 to int, 71 to strength. That's important because of that 1-to-1 ratio we talked about. And 120 to mind. Fantastic, crazy staff you get as an Arc Ether reward from March of the Saints. And the effect is criticals will occur when using healing magic. That stays true to this build, right? He uses Glass Record, which heals the entire rotation. He has a lot of critical ups on him, which does affect the crit rate of this happening. So in my eyes, this is just a win-win staff, a great addition to him with this precise build that I've got going. Here is the machine that I was talking about, Tech Blade Loop, another gem exposed to me by Tweaks. Not crazy stats on it, just 107 strength, which is decent, not great, but physical attacks deal more damage to enemies that are farther away. So this is another multiplier that goes hand in hand with Maglion, which I do believe allows him to bring out some of the most damage potential you can get with Gen. Tutor Toy number 15. A funny little word right there. But battle start, minus 10% mind plus 50% of subtracted mind to int. So it's a little counterproductive when it comes to the actual healing, since healing numbers are affected by the mind stat. But I figure it gives him a 41 intelligence stat. And since mind is his second highest stat, I can give him just a little more damage by throwing this on without completely destroying his mind stat. Minus 10% is significant, but I still think it allows for more damage and still a nice significant amount of healing. And then Radmoon Stone I also have on him just to give him another plus 20% to casting speed. That coupled with high level magic chant is what allowed you to see what I like to think is relatively quick casting speed for those glass records and his debuff skills that we saw him performing in battle. And my arc of choice on Gen is Skyship Lonvalian. I do like this for a multitude of reasons. Let's just start with the attribute. At the battle start, it gives him an automatic barrier, so it gives him just a little more tankiness, which isn't a crazy amount, but it's better than nothing because he's already squishy. It also grants him the ability to dodge stat debuffs, which I think will be nice in PvP. And this last part, neutral attack damage plus 25%, which does apply to him 100% of the time because he is a no attribute attack damage dealer, which is automatically neutral damage to every enemy. So I like it because it's just a nice flat 25% damage buff to him. Also regarding the stats that it provides, it gives an okay amount of HP, nothing crazy, some MP, but then here we go, strength and intelligence. Well, strength down to mind is a pretty consistent 230 plus to each stat. Like I said, I like that because of that 1-to-1 ratio. All that strength is being utilized as well as all of that intelligence for his damage output and 200 to each stat is a nice amount, especially when it's spread across the board. Just a very balanced arc that fits very well on Gen for multiple reasons, in my opinion. Now, I thought about providing alternatives to the build, alternative equipment, alternative skills, alternative arcs, but to be honest, I'm losing my voice. This is the third video of the day, so I just wanted to show off what I was specifically proud in building. You can see his final stats here listed off with Skyship equipped to him. Gen is the unit I'm running for support. People, if you have me as a friend, there's my ID. I've got some spaces left. Please check him out. Let me know if he helped you at all clear some things that might have been very difficult. And let me know if you have any other ideas to make this guy even better, or maybe some alternative routes. I know Ivaz, our LC mod, built her Gen very tanky, and it is serving her very well in PvP. So I need to take a look and see exactly what she did, but I'm interested just to know what other things Gen can accomplish, because he is very versatile. You can take him multiple ways, and I think he's going to be very effective just as a support unit. You slap him on any team, whether you want to go like I said, like I did, the damage slash debuff slash SCT battery route, or maybe a tanky strictly debuff and healing route. I think he could work very well in that way too. So I want to know your thoughts, your opinions. Did you get him? Did you miss him? Do you care? Are you sad? Y'all know I like to see y'all's feedback. And that's all I got for you this time. So y'all know what I say. Work hard, play harder. See you in the next video.